Big focus this hour is the crucial meeting between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the United States President Joe Biden, scheduled later this evening. Now, the two world leaders will today hold a virtual meeting. Now, this meeting will take place before the 2+2 Ministerial dialogue, which will be attended by Defense Minister Rajnath Singh, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar with their American counterparts, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, as well as Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Washington, D.C. Now, the major highlight of the dialogue is expected to be a discussion around India's position on the Ukraine-Russia crisis. To discuss more on this issue, what this meeting means for India, we're being joined by Suresh Goel, former ambassador. Sir, thank you so much for joining us here on Mirror Now. Now, there has been a lot of discourse around India's position on the Ukraine-Russia crisis. Now, in fact, even if you look at the press releases, India hasn't mentioned that, there will be a discussion around Ukraine and Russia. However, America has. So there is a certain, disconnect right there. How important do you think this is going to be?
India has not mentioned whether Ukraine will be discussed or Pakistan will be discussed or Indo-Pacific will be discussed. Our statement has been very anodyne, simply announcing that there will be a virtual meeting between the two. So I'm not going to there is no disconnect there as such. There are more details given by the USA in their statement announcing the visit. So that is fine, I think. However, if we come to the substance and first of all, just before the 2+2 meeting, for the President and the Prime Minister to meet virtually, it does acquire a very special significance, particularly because over Ukraine, one has noticed the kind of statements coming from some of very senior officials in the government there, like the Deputy Trade Representative saying that there could be consequences unless India's position on Ukraine changes. So there are differences there which could raise some alarm, and therefore those would be matter of discussion between the two uncertain. Similarly, I think developments in South Asia. After all, there have been various reports saying that there was intervention from the USA in the political process in Pakistan, which would clearly indicate that Shahbaz Sharif may be closer to the USA than Imran Khan was towards the end of his Prime Ministership. China in the Pacific. So there will be various issues which will be discussed between the two leaders just before the 2+2.
Absolutely, sir. In fact, America isn't particularly happy with India's stand when it comes to the Ukraine-Russia crisis, and especially when, India was wanting to buy discounted Russian oil. America, like even you mentioned, that there were certain warnings coming in from there of consequences. How do you think that this issue is going to have a bearing in today's meeting?
Definitely. I do think that, as I said, Ukraine and the differences of views between India and the USA on the matter would be a matter of discussion, I'm sure. I do think at the same time that we have made it very clear to both Russia and to the USA that our position is not going to toe one line or the other. What is discomforting really is the kind of the old 30 years old NAM days when there used to be the attitude that you are either with us or against us. Some of the officials seem to be reflecting that kind of an old mindset. I am certain, however, that Biden does understand the importance of India in USA's foreign relations, particularly in Indo-Pacific, vis-a-vis China, even in terms of what is happening in Europe. And I'm sure that he will understand why we have taken and the decision and the stand that we have taken that is independent of any country. So I am certain that the dialogue between the two leaders will produce positive results, a positive outcome.
Right. In fact, Mr. Goel, when two world leaders meet, there is a lot of discussion, like we are anticipating it will be around Ukraine, Russia, but I'm sure there'll be other issues also that India is dealing with, like, for example, trade deals, defense cooperation. Do you think, something big can come out of tonight's meeting?
it's very, very difficult to predict anything as to what other things might be discussed in the meeting. I'm sure that EAM Jaishankar had called on the trade representative, Carolyn. So there would have been discussions on trade matters there also. In the 2+2 format also, I'm sure there will be discussions on trade, defense, foreign policy, etc. I think the two leaders will take the occasion to take a larger view of things, more matters rather than details in terms of trade, etc., etc. This is my, but let us see.
All right, Mr. Goel, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much for joining us.